Hello, everyone. Um, how are you guys doing tonight? Um, if you guys had to describe how you're feeling in one word, what would it be? Let's just type it in the chat below. I'll write in mine. um, are you guys into football? Because I'm not, but I hear football season starts today. Nice, nice, nice. We've got some non-sports fans here. Um, Nice. Francisco says he likes football, but he can live without it on most nights. That's more than many can say, Francisco, is it not? Um, yeah, let's see. I think I might have gotten a question or two. What kind of music do you like, Sam? All right. What's your favorite dating app? Write that in the comments below as well. I'm curious. And does anyone have a good opening line that they use on dating apps? Like, my friend who actually did really well on dating apps, he always used to use the line, "Kale or bacon?" Question mark. It's like a good funny opener rather than it's so much better than like, "Hey," or "How's your weekend?" or "What are you up to this weekend?" or whatever people say. So, yeah, a humorous line like that is pretty good. Um, Root Cause says, "I am rich." That's great. That's amazing, Root Cause. Wha What's your secret? Okay, I got some questions now, so I will get to them. Um, so VS Music says, "Are you a cat person or a dog person?" My opening line, "I'm 20 and new to dating." Interesting, interesting. Does that work out well for you, VS Music? I'm wondering like what kind of results you get from that. And I'm definitely a dog person. Um, I like cats, but I never had a cat, and I'm a bit wary around cats, but I absolutely love dogs. Dogs are amazing. So, yeah. All right. Question time. All right. I'm just going to read one at the bottom. Soul Searching says, "Have you heard of the archetypical feminine?" All right. So, who said this? Is there just one archetypical feminine? I mean, that sounds like something some random person on Instagram made up. Um, Let me know what that is, Soul Searching. Um, so Josiah says, "Hello, give me an honest answer. Why did my ex got a boyfriend so quickly?" Um, she was probably an attractive woman, and guys were like eager to jump on dating her. Like, I have a lot of sisters, and they were single for like literally an hour. Like, the ex broke up with them, and then like a new guy was moving in. So it could be that she could have had him lined up possibly while you were dating. It's possible, but obviously, without knowing anything else about the situation, how can I tell you? But many possibilities. You could give me some more details if you want. Um, oh, hello, Alexandra. Alexandra says, I'm a little older, like in my 30s, and I don't know how I feel about opening lines. I feel like it's nice when someone points out something from a photo or one of the prompts. Yeah, Alexandra, I completely agree with you. That's really the best thing to do because it shows you actually read the profile and you actually are interested, or at least it appears as if you are interested in the girl for her personality as well as her looks. So I agree. You cannot go wrong with that. It's really the best. But I do think like kind of a funny like that Kayla Bacon thing can be good because it just kind of shows you're kind of like a fun person, and then you can get into I think what you said, which is pointing out something from their photos or profiles for sure. But both are good in my opinion. Um, have you gotten any interesting opening lines that you didn't like, Alexandra? Because I'm sure many guys here would benefit from this information. So, oh, VS Music is a cat lover. I see. So the Hambone says she had that lined up. The Hambone, now, why would you say that? Because, like, you as well as me know literally nothing about this situation. So why jump to that conclusion? It's definitely a possibility, but why assume that? It's like, really? Like, we're starting off the night on a misogynistic, um, bent? But, yeah. Alright. PJ only says, or she had that situation already existing while you were in the picture. All right, why do you guys want to believe that so bad? Like, this guy said literally nothing about the situation, except that she got a new boyfriend quickly. I mean, if he liked her, she was probably hot, so that means other guys like her. So it's very possible she could have gone out that night. She's single, and a guy asked her out. So why jump to this, you know, oh, women are like bad red pill explanation. I don't get that. So, yeah. Um, let's see. All right, I'm going down to the bottom. Okay, Alexandra, she's giving me some crying, laughing emojis. So, you know what I'm saying, Alexandra? Why did they do it? I don't get it. Um, Josiah says, yeah, she's hot. Nice. All right. So, today I'm just kind of like, I'm not going in an orderly fashion. I'm just kind of picking up things. Um, okay. Maybe that's not the best idea though, because now I'm like not focusing on anything. All right. Randy L says, what is your opinion on age gap relationships? He is 38, she is 18. Ugh. Um, Technically she's an adult. Technically she can make her own decisions. In some cases, I think it's okay, but in other cases, like, what is his I don't know, like, what is his reasons for dating an 18-year-old? Does he just want someone kind of, like, naive and easy to manipulate? Do they actually have a connection? I don't know. I mean, I guess they're free to make their own decisions at this point, but I would like to know more about this, situation personally to pronounce my judgment on it. Um, okay, JDB, he has a question, but I don't see it. I'm not seeing your question. You keep saying, "Can you answer it?" I don't know where it is. Type it down below again, please. Sorry about that. Um, oh, okay, here we go. I found it, JDB. If a coworker double takes to look at you, is she attracted to you? Um, Multiple times during the day. Okay. every single live, this is kind of like the most interesting pattern I have seen from these lives. And I actually heard someone describe it recently on TikTok as the male overperception bias. Okay, first of all, look, I said this in my video on how to tell if a girl's attracted to you, but just this attitude in general is not good. Why are you looking for minute signs and signals? It's like you're reading the tea leaves to see if she's attracted to you. Yeah, I noticed in that book, The 3% Man by Corey Wayne, he kind of says the same thing. It's like very beta attitude, in my opinion. Just to be straight with you guys, I feel like I've said this enough on lives. Hopefully, I'm not boring you, but okay, she could double take to look at you for so many different reasons. You could look kind of like weird. You could look bad. You could have something on your face. So basically, all you're giving me is that, she's looking at something on your face. She's looking at you. It's possible she's attracted to you. It's possible she's not. But just the whole attitude of like interpreting these signs is very, very bad. You really do not want to be relying on, well, I don't know. I just ask her out. Like, just start talking to her, start flirting with her, and then ask her out, or ask her to hang out outside of work, something like that, please. But you are never going to be able to know for sure if somebody is attracted to you. I mean, like all these signs you guys are always talking to me about, like just to be totally blunt with you all, it's beta AF because the alpha guys that girls want walk up to them, ask them out. Okay, so if you're not doing that, you look weak. Okay. Maybe tonight I'll just be very blunt. Maybe I'll just be like straight up hardcore honesty in the most raw and blunt way. So hopefully you guys are up for that because I'm actually kind of in a semi bad mood. So yeah, maybe I'll just be a bit more blunter than normal. All right. Reginald says, I love it when people are blunt. Okay, good. That's good. That's very good. A1 recording says facts. All right. Josiah says, okay. JDB JDB says, why does it have to be negative? It does not have to be negative. It could be positive. I'm just saying don't take this attitude. Don't be that guy who's scared. Don't be that guy who's searching for signs. Don't be the guy who's writing to different girls saying, "Does she like me?" Most guys, they're not thinking about any of, well, I'm not saying most guys because maybe this isn't actually most guys, but the guys that women are dreaming about are guys that will just walk up to them, no worries about rejection. They're not scared of rejection because they know they do well with women. So it's like they want you to have that attitude. They want you to be cool, confident, casual, collected. Like you talk to girls all the time and you don't really care if they like you or not because one, they need to get to know you. Like if you're not flirting with them, if you're not creating like sexual chemistry with them, how do they even really know if they like you? It's not just looks like you guys are saying. There's also the number one thing girls always say, confidence. Confidence is just being that guy who goes after what he wants. Like he sees a girl he likes, he goes up to her and talk to her because in his head he's thinking, I'm gonna get that girl. Okay. So you don't want to be this guy who's just like at home, like calculating and adding up the tiny signs and possibilities that she could be into you to minimize your chance of rejection to like the smallest possible chance. Like you don't want that attitude, if that makes sense, JDB. Okay. So Francisco says that explains why my second date went down. Really? How did that work out? Reginald says, thanks for reading my comment. I was wondering about something slightly taboo and out of the box. All right, go for it, Reginald. I'd be interested to hear that. Um, the Hambone says, I know you're not single, but if you were, would you ever consider a guy you're not physically attracted to? If so, why? Actually, I would, the Hambone, because, you know, you guys maybe know I used to be a stripper, right? That taught me a lot because I had to give lap dances to guys that I wouldn't normally like date because I was a stripper when I was single. But that taught me a lot because it taught me about basically sexual chemistry is different than physical attractiveness. I think that's a lesson many girls have not dated enough guys to understand. Um, but you can vibe with somebody, you can just be like in perfect sync with somebody. You can just create like intense sexual chemistry with somebody who outwardly does not look anything like what you think they should look like or anyone you would have considered previously. Like it's it's just a fact, okay? And I do find it I mean it's I mean, there's probably some benefits of just going for physically attractive people. Just like the evolutionary psychologists say, they probably are like more fertile or whatever. But sexually, your sexual chemistry, the sexual energy that's coming from people, and your sexual connection and your sexual compatibility with certain people really has nothing to do with physical attractiveness. So I don't know, I just learned that lesson there. So now physical attractiveness is not even that attractive to me because I'm more interested in sexual compatibility and but I don't think many girls necessarily share that opinion. That came to me kind of like later in life, but now I'm like totally on the I guess the word isn't even like sapiosexual is like attracted to intelligence. I'm attracted to that too, but it's like I'm just more in it for like sexual compatibility, basically. Um, so yeah, it's a really good question. What do you guys think? Like, have you ever experienced that before where it's like physically you would never have like looked at him twice, but sexually you cannot deny there's something real. What do you guys think? Alexandra, amazing. We got a girl saying 100% re-looks. Very, very cool, Alexandra. So have you experienced the same thing? I don't know, like, when I think of just an attractive guy, it's almost not even that attractive to me anymore because I'm just like, "What is he gonna be like with me? Is he gonna be, like, totally selfish in bed? Is he gonna, like, put me down? Are we gonna have anything to talk about? Can he, like, understand me? Is he gonna understand the female gaze?" Like, I don't know, it just pales in comparison. And maybe I'm denying something, like, primal, but that's just how I feel at this point. So, um Alexander says, I think it's sexuality as well as seeing someone doing something cool, doing a good deed. It can be wholesome stuff too. That makes someone super attractive. I agree with you. I really agree with you. And actually, not to bring my mom into this, but I have been like quizzing kind of like my sisters and my mom about different things like related to this channel. And that's actually her kink, I would say. Hopefully, I'm not going to post this now that I said this, but like kind of somebody doing wholesome stuff, that can be really attractive to some people, especially people with, like, a really strong moral compass. Um, I'd say mine's strong, but my mom's is, like, a lot stronger, and that's something she's really attracted to as well. Um, yeah, great point. Seeing someone doing something cool, yeah, I agree, that's very attractive, extremely attractive. that gives you like a kick for sure, like a charge. Um, yeah. Wow. So Josiah's and the terracing. What is the female gaze? Well, I have explained this on other lives. There's a term I heard a lot on TikTok, probably like some feminist theory term, but it's very smart and it really explains so much. Um, Another word for it, well, it's basically like how it's basically like do I want to go into the whole example? But I use it as a term for just like what females want, what they really like crave and desire that men kind of like can't really see for themselves. Like I explain this in so many lives. That's why I'm just hesitant to like go into it 100%, but maybe I will later. Um, so like Reginald says, is it like the male gaze? Yeah, it's like, okay, the male gaze. Like you guys see like a body a lot of times, it seems like. Like the face, it's like, oh, the face is okay. But I'm seeing like breasts. I'm seeing like a butt. I'm seeing like the shape. I'm seeing like, women like wanting me, women wanting to be attracted, women like being sexually aggressive with me. This is kind of like the male fantasy, the male gaze. People are writing movies kind of about this like male gaze dreams and desires and fantasies. It's like when a movie is written from the perspective of a man and it's slightly skewed. It's slightly skewed to become like a male fantasy. That's like the male gaze. It's not exactly accurate, but it's what the man sees and wants. Like an example I explained in the other live is like I haven't even seen the Fast and the Furious movies, but it's like the camera angle zooms in. There's like a red sports car, and there's a woman, and she's wearing like a white, wet, you know, cut off tank top and like ripped Daisy Dukes, and she's like soaping up, and the camera zooms like right in on her like stomach and boobs, okay? And it's like, this is how a man like sees things. It's kind of like the artistic representation of how like a man is like looking at the world. Would you guys agree? Where if it's like the female gaze, it's like it's very different. Like a woman would look at that same scene and she would see something different. Like she would probably like zoom in more on like the face of the girl or like the look in the eyes of the girl or like the emotional state beneath the surface of the girl. Or like the nature in the background and like, the hopes and dreams and longings of the girl. And it's like the male gaze isn't focusing on that. Do you know what I'm saying? And like the classic example of the female gaze that everyone uses, and I have explained this all life, so forgive me if you've heard this before, but it's like in Pride and Prejudice, right? And Darcy, Mr. Darcy, they focus the camera in just on his hand, just the hand, the tension in his hand as he's like just brushed fingertips with Elizabeth Bennet because he just has so much like pent up passion and desire for her. You know what I mean? He's just like barely grazing the hand, and the female gaze is just this hand just tensing just a little bit, like symbolizes to a woman, this is fucking sexy because it's like you can tell this guy is just barely holding on because he's just has so much passion and desire. When my boyfriend saw this, he was like, "What the fuck? This is ridiculous. What is this hand thing? No guy does that. No guy feels that." You see, it's like the female gaze skews to their hopes and dreams and desires and fantasies and how they want men to be. Is it how men really are? Probably not really. Okay. But it's like, and it's same with the man. It's same with the male gaze, like porn. It's like male gaze for you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the woman is just throwing herself at this guy, and she's turned on instantly. No build up, nothing. And she wants to get fucked so hard, and it's like, um, I'm sorry, but that's not real. And that's not how a woman would think it's sexy necessarily. They might think it's sexy, but it's seeing it through the male gaze, and that could be sexy too. The male gaze is sexy. The male gaze is hot, but it's different. Okay? That's what I think. I'm not against porn. I think porn is good, but it's a representation of a male fantasy. Okay? And I do feel like I've seen like this porn for women stuff. It's still a male fantasy. It's not good in my opinion at all. But yeah. So anyway, does that make sense? That's kind of the male gaze and the female gaze. It's like when you start seeing it, you start seeing it everywhere. It's like one guy told me to watch Californication because it was on a comment on my video and he was talking about how David Duchovny is like the perfect example of like a brat tamer. And when I was watching it, it was so freaking unrealistic because I'm like, literally every single girl is throwing herself at this guy, and this is giving guys the craziest idea of what the real world is like, and, this is the male gaze. It's a male fantasy written by a male writer who wanted to write, like, a cool fantasy about a cool fantasy guy, but it's not real. It's his fantasy. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, VS Music says porn versus real life is very different. Porn skews the male's reality when it comes to him actually being with a real life girl. Why is that, VS? Like, does he just not understand what women are really feeling, and does he expect women to act exactly like they do in porn, or what is it? Um, Reginald says, if you can play that role, I can play to the female gaze, ladies. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it's fun to play the role of the male gaze. Like, it's fun to give a man their fantasy, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. And in the same way, I agree. Like, the men should play the role of the female gaze a little bit too. Um, but you have to be careful because if you just cater to the male gaze so much, when are you getting your true desires met? Do you know what I mean? It's fun, it's good, it's sexy, but you have to remember there's like an untouched, untapped yearning under the surface in a woman that you will not reach if she's just playing into your male gaze fantasies. Um, Alexandra says, yes, that is my part. Love that movie, Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, I love it too, to be honest. So pretty. It's so aesthetically pleasing. And the guy who plays Darcy is great. Um, Reality Seer says, an attractive woman is like fine art. Indeed. Oh, so OG Suave says, do you allow your man to step out from time to time as long as he comes back home? So what do you mean by that, OG Suave? Step out. All right. The Terror says, I don't get why some people hating on the male gaze while see nothing wrong with the female gaze or the other way around. Like, why can't we respect each other's perspectives and fantasies? The Terror, I agree with you completely. I really agree with you. I don't like to see like the hate on the male gaze. The male gaze is cool. It's very cool. Like, have you guys ever seen the movie Holes? It's like a kids movie, like the book Holes. Well, my boyfriend, he has kids, and one of his kids showed me the movie Holes. And when I saw that movie, I'm like, I have to fucking admit that movie was cool. And it was so like male gaze and like male culture. And I'm like, say what you will about the male gaze, but it's very cool. It's very cool. I like male fantasies. Like I really do. And I don't like, yeah, when women automatically assume like the female gaze is the highest moral perspective one can take. Do you know what I mean? They're both good. I do feel like the female gaze is quite misunderstood a lot of times, but the male gaze is equally misunderstood. So I don't know who has it worse, but I agree with you that it's very important. And I do feel like a lot of women, they don't, they have issues embracing the male gaze, and I can understand why. Um, Goku with the Hellcat look neon says, "Do rock stars and musicians meet the female gaze?" You know what? I think they do. Especially musicians. Just like when you see a guy playing music, I think that really does tap into the female gaze because you see him just kind of like connecting with his soul. Do you know what I mean? Like you see this depth in him. And it is very female gaze. It's kind of like the tough exterior with like the soft depth. It kind of reminds me of like Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing, which I talked about on a different one of my first lives. Um, where it's like he was tough and he was sensitive. It's such like a beautiful combination, I feel like in a guy. And I feel like a lot of times musicians, it's like when they play music, you see this like beautiful depth in them, and it's just very female gaze. I agree. Wow, I'm getting tipped. Thank you guys so much. Passionate Rebellion, my man. Thank you. What would it take for you to review a fresh and fit video? A super chat amount, perhaps. Oh god. I will do it. I will do it. Um, Send me a video and I will try to do it for you, Passionate Rebellion. I'll see how much I can get through. I was actually just seeing a clip of Fresh and Fit today, but it was like under a minute. So yeah, I gotta watch like the full thing. So if you have one that you like, Passionate Rebellion, like an episode that you thought was really good, or the guests were good, or whatever, email me, my nonleatherlife@gmail.com, and I will try to listen to it and review it. So thank you so much again for your tip, and let me know what you think of that. And then Servite888, thank you so much. Hello, Servite888. You are very, very kind. I really appreciate that, Servite. Let me know if you have any questions, Servite, because I can look for them and answer them. So, okay. All right, Passionate Rebellion says, I will find one and send it to you. Okay. I will look forward to that because, like I said, I did find it entertaining in kind of like I'm like running around the room, like holding my head in my hands, screaming kind of way. But, yeah. So, let's see if Servite said anything. Okay. So the Hamilton says, yeah, I am not understanding what this gaze thing is. All right. I'll think if I can find a better way to explain it, the ham bone, but yeah. Um, so this can maybe help you this can maybe help you, the ham bone. Reginald says, so if I want to make an OnlyFans for the female gaze, how could I do that? Good question. There's a lot of ways you can do that. I'm gonna show you guys a channel that's very female gaze, okay? I think I did post it on a different live, but I'm gonna just look it up for 1 second. I'm gonna post it in the chat. This is a very female gaze channel. When I saw this, I was like, damn it, this guy's good. This guy's so fucking good. All right, I'm gonna post it below. Check out this YouTube if you guys are ever bored. This is an example of the female gaze. It's called Boyfriend Audio, and this guy makes. I'm not saying this is the only example of female gaze, but this is one female gaze kind of thing. So he basically makes these comfort boyfriend audios. It's kind of like porn for women, you might say, in a small sense, where he's giving women kind of like the deep emotional connection that they need, while at the same time, which is like what a lot of guys miss, being kind of like alpha, cool guy um, at the same time. So it's like getting that comfort from kind of like this alpha cool guy with good social skills who seems kind of like high value, because that's kind of like a rare combination that a guy has both those skills at once. But like when I sometimes see the titles of his videos, I'm like, how did he know that? How did he know that's what like women want to hear? Yeah, some of them are pretty brilliant. And I mean, another example of the female gaze is there's a lot of them. Like there's different guys that women like really resonate with sexually. I have posted a couple of my faves before on different lives. Like there's this guy on TikTok and I think his name is like French Brutus something. I don't know. This guy, everything he says and does, I'm just like, oh, this guy gets it. Like this is the kind of guy that I would want to like sleep with, because it's like he has such a sex positive and, like, comforting, sexually healthy, like, attitude. Um, yeah, so that guy, and then this guy, like, Gideon Mazikeen, I've told you guys about before. He's another example of the female gaze, in my opinion, but it's a more, like, hardcore version of the female gaze. It's, like, a very kinky, dommy female gaze. Like, but I love him. He's amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of like erotic audio creators who really tap into the female gaze well. I don't really like a lot of them, but they know how to like use dirty talk and female fantasies to tap into it. I mean, romance novels are an example of the female gaze. Even like rom-coms, if you watch them with kind of like the understanding that you're looking for the things that women want, like the wish fulfillment in these that women want, like, you can learn a lot from them. Do you know what I mean? Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things I see on TikTok where I'm just like, "This is very female gaze." A guy probably would never assume that this is, like, as hot as it is to women. So yeah. Um, Reginald says, "Oh, oh, dirty talk. Oh my god, that's it. I have what they are missing and wishing for." Well, I mean, you have to be good at dirty talk. You have to do dirty talk in the right way, but dirty talk, in my opinion, is extremely important. And it's a huge key to the female gaze sexually, because it allows you to tap into fantasy storylines. In other words, kinks that women have. So, yeah, dirty talk is big. Um, so an example of someone on TikTok you have seen that is way hotter than a guy might realize. Yeah, I could look for that. I'll look for that. Maybe if if I stop getting some questions, I'll just go through my TikToks and I favorite ones that I think will be, like, helpful to you guys to show something interesting, so I can show some of those. So, VS Music says, "Dirty talk is the best way to get a deeper connection." Is the best way to get a deeper sexual connection? Maybe, definitely top 3 for sure. For some people, it's gonna be top 1. Like, for me, it probably is the number 1, but there's other very important things as well to get a deeper sexual connection, and to get a deeper emotional connection, you're gonna have to do other things, like just good empathy, acknowledgement, validation, and understanding. So, yeah. Let's see. So Sam says, I feel like taken girls are way more outgoing towards guys who aren't their boyfriends, whereas single girls tend to be more shy and reserved in person. Well, that would make sense because, you have nothing at stake when you have a boyfriend. So you can be very outgoing, you can be very flirtatious. At the end of the night, you're going home with your boyfriend, um, and you're probably a bit like bored a bit, like just not like you're bored of your boyfriend, but it's like you want that flirtation experience that you haven't really had since you're single. Whereas single girls, there's more at stake. They can actually get rejected. They might actually have to have sex at the end of the night and deal with I'm horny versus this is scary or this is like embarrassing or you know what I'm saying? They're weighing these things, so it can cause more like shame, embarrassment, being shy and reserved. Whereas if you have a boyfriend, like, what does it even matter if a guy rejects you? Like, you're good because you got your boyfriend who's telling you all this nice stuff at home. So, yeah, you can feel more confident. And it's like they say, being loved makes you brave, you know? Whereas when you're single, you're kind of like emotionally run down. You're like, am I even good enough? So it causes more like shy behavior, I think. So, um, Brian T says, for me, sexual connection is weakened when I start to introduce other forms of connection. The fire is weakened. Well, I could see that, Ryan T. Like, I think that can happen. I think it can weaken it, but it doesn't have to weaken it. Um, because like for me, like, my boyfriend and I, we used to have just, like, a very intense sexual connection, but we didn't have necessarily the greatest emotional connection. That caused a lot of problems, and then we actually got a better emotional connection. Um, our whole relationship improved in, like, so many ways, and we still had sex just as much, but I did notice just, like, a tiny bit of it's like, well, we don't have to only connect through sex anymore. There's other ways we can connect with. Whereas if you have like zero emotional connection, um, kind of the only way of getting like your emotional needs met is sexually. So I think that could be one of the reasons why it's like, and also it's kind of like the polarity is there. It's like you both just don't kind of like understand each other. Well, at least from like the woman, it's just like, I don't know. There's something to it. But at the same time, um, this has not made like a actual decline in like the number of times per week we have sex, and it's made like the rest of our relation so much better, and I think it's made the sexual connection deeper, that we now have this emotional connection better. But I'm not saying you're 100% wrong, Ryan, because you're not. I think there's a lot to what you're saying, a lot of truth to what you're saying. So Yeah, but don't think that if you're in a relationship that you're just gonna stop having sex because there's a lot of stuff you can do to turn up the sexual fire and heat in the bedroom. Um, so Alpha 4 Texas, what did you study in college? I studied philosophy, basically. Like I went to this great book school kind of thing. So it's like you study the great books of Western civilization. So, but it was basically like philosophy, basically. The Reviving Gamer, thank you so much. I really appreciate your tip. And if you have any questions for me, the Reviving Gamer, just put it down below and I will look for it. But thank you for that. So, VES music is are clingy girls red flags? No, they're not red flags, but they are girls who are going to need more emotional connection and support than maybe you want to give. So you have to like some guys like clingy girls, you know what I mean? Um, you have to want to invest more than perhaps many guys want to invest. So, but it's not just like a red flag. Servite, headed to dinner, always important to take care. Thank you so much again, Servite. Have a great dinner. Um, so, Ryan T says, women always want another connection from me besides sexual, and I don't like to do that because I like to live in the sexual fire. I don't like to lose that. Well, I don't think you're gonna lose it. I mean, there's certain aspects, like, I honestly feel that sex does get better with the emotional connection. Like, I actually like it more. I don't think you have to lose the fire. I'm saying it can happen, but it doesn't have to happen. And especially if you keep ratcheting it up a notch. You know what I mean? Like, keep pushing and exploring new things. Um, I do feel like you're kind of missing out if you don't add in that emotional connection, but hey, you don't have to do it. I'm just saying I do think it has made sex better. Like with a lot of guys, I used to have hookup. I'll say hookup with. Um, I couldn't even like look them in the eyes because I didn't like them. I didn't respect them. I didn't feel any kind of like a connection with them. So it's like a huge piece of me I was holding back because I didn't have that connection. I didn't have that emotional connection. So there's just so much there's many more ways it can deepen with that. Let's just say that. Um, Reality Seer says, "Who likes a touch me not? Lol, I like clingy." Yeah, Reality Seer, that's kind of how I feel. Like I'm very into like physical affection, and it's like I heard this really good thing. It's like a clingy person that kind of creates the fire because it's like she desires you. She wants to be with you. She wants to like be around you all the time and she's kind of driving like that passion and fire in the relationship. Like imagine if she just like was uninterested in you, didn't really care if you guys had sex or not, didn't really care if she saw you or not. It's like where's the fire and passion in that? So there's a lot of beautiful things about clinginess, and there's a lot of like affection and passion with a clingy girl. Mm. So, so Ryan T says the emotional connection turns me off sexually. I've heard different guys say that. I don't really get it personally, but why is that, Ryan T? Um, so VS Music says, "True. Thanks for putting me on game." Awesome. Um, Daniel Lucero says, "Have you heard of semen retention?" Yeah, I have. Um, what do you guys think of it? So then VS Music says, "The ultimate live question. What is your thoughts on Andrew Tate? That guy has been taking over the internet, lol." I haven't been keeping up with him. Um, I just watched a clip of him like from a while back, and I've talked about him on every live basically, but I need to like see the latest with him. I mean, when I first saw him, I'll just tell you again, what I saw is just like massive nerd trying to be a dom so he can kind of attract women, but the nerdiness was shining through and was pretty laughable. So, yeah, I know he was a former pro kickboxer, but guess what? Nerds can be athletes too. Henry Cavill is supposedly like a huge nerd, but he doesn't act like it, does he? Also, Pure Earth says, "I've got a couple that wants to hang around a lot, and she wants me, and I want her, but he's always still stuck there. How should I get rid of him?" Well, maybe you can have a threesome with him. Maybe you can be in a throuple. Maybe. Okay. The Reviving Gamer, thank you so much for your tip. I really appreciate it. So he says, "Can an ugly guy get the burning love Chads get? I feel like I'm always competing sexually. Why would a girl want an average dude if she can get a Chad?" Okay. Can an ugly guy get the burning love Chads get? First of all, yes. I'm not saying Chads don't have it easier. We all know that. We all know there's like a bias in society for good looking people, pretty privilege. Okay? We know that. However, are there many ugly guy examples in the world who women are passionately attracted to? 100%. Okay? I'm not saying it's necessarily easy because this ugly guy is going to have to rely on things other than his looks, and that's a big one, right? But there's other traits and behaviors an ugly guy can develop to be irresistible to women. Like, for example, what if this ugly guy is a fucking genius at dirty talk who can really like tap into girls' fantasies, or who can just make girls feel comfortable, make girls feel desired. Okay, these are things that women pay for, that women want, no matter from who. So there's many different things that an ugly guy can do to be desirable without looks. Um, so then you say, I feel like for example, he could be rich. That's another thing, like an ugly guy. So obviously it's possible. And I mean, from my own experience, I feel like it's very true. Like I've met a lot of ugly guys who just ooze confidence or some sort of like appeal. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't fucking care that he's ugly. And then the other thing is like he becomes attractive. And it's like, you guys have it good in a way because a masculine guy, does he even have to be pretty? Not really, because masculinity relies on, like, so much more than facial attractiveness. I'm not saying people don't like facial attractiveness, but even like I have watched some of these black pill videos and I look at their scale, the 1 to 10 black pill scale. I'm like, okay, I see that the guys are rating a 10. They're very attractive. They're very pretty. They look like male models. I could see why a lot of girls would be into them. However, not every girl is even going to be into like a pretty boy type. Okay. I think they'd all realize that it's a good thing. It's like, yeah, okay, if he's good looking too, so be it. Definitely not a negative. However, the guys all the way down to like the 2 on the scale, I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, this guy looks like a normal guy. And do you think like normal guys can't be attractive? They can. There's so many things normal guys do wrong that have nothing to do with how they look to turn women off that men just don't see and cannot sense. They're just totally blind to. Okay. But yeah, like I want to pull up this black pill scale of like telling guys, oh, because like you have an asymmetrical nose and your jaw isn't like totally like chiseled, you're ugly. No, you're not ugly. Maybe you're just doing some of the basics wrong. Like, are you even asking out women? Or are you calculating like madly at home thinking, "Oh, well, I'm a 6 and she's a 5, so maybe I can get her." Or, "Oh, I saw her looking at me and touching her hair at the same time, so maybe I'll be able to, you know, make intense eye contact and then she'll go out with me and she'll wanna fuck me and have sex with me." It's like, they're not even doing the basics right. They don't even understand, like, the first thing about what attracts women, and they have average looks. Their average looks will morph. Their average looks will morph into, like, a beautiful face when the woman likes them for other reasons. I'm not kidding, okay? And obviously, like I said, looks help. Looks get you in the door everywhere. Looks make things easy for you, okay? But so does a lot of other behavioral traits, okay? So, yes, an ugly guy can get burning love. You can be an ugly guy. Andrew Tate is not good looking, in my opinion. Okay, but he just puts on his little dom facade, and yeah, he's got like worldly success and probably rich now, and girls like him. Okay, it's not because of the way he looks. His looks aren't good. Okay, so I mean they're fine. He looks like a normal average guy, but a woman is going to be attracted to you for your traits, for who you are as a person, for your ability to succeed, for your ability to make money, for your ability to compete. And looks are good too because they probably signal like some fertility thing, like you're young and healthy and you're got a good sperm count. You know what I'm saying? But people will overlook that for other things. So that's my answer to you. Why would a girl want an average dude if she could get a Chad? Because I've fucked a lot of Chads, okay? They're not good in bed. They're not nice. They're selfish. They're not very smart. They're not necessarily having more to offer than just looks, and that's not really gonna help somebody too much in sexually, emotionally, um, mentally, conversationally, socially. Well, I mean, socially, good looks kinda helps you a bit, but, yeah, hopefully you get what I'm saying. Pure, it says, "Kind of what I thought, but it's usually 2 girls and me, not a guy and a girl plus me." I don't know what that means. Guillaume says, "The depth is the important, surface is nothing." I agree with you, Guillaume. I mean, it's not nothing because we all know it helps. We all know you can do nothing and your surface will, you know, speak volumes. But I agree with you. The depth is the importance. In the long term, the depth is more important. And yeah. Um, so Apollo says, not gonna lie, I disagree with a lot being said. Look up wheat waffles. I might have seen this guy. Is this a guy who is kind of like very ugly and he like asked out 100 girls and like they all rejected him? Okay. I'm not saying like if you look very, very different from kind of like if you're really like deviating a lot from the norm, which I think this guy Wheat Waffles was. I mean, he also didn't show, I don't think, like how he asked girls out, if this is who I'm thinking of, like what he said, his attitude, his energy. But that can be very difficult. But a lot of you guys who think you're ugly, you're not ugly. Okay. You're just not, you know, looking like you could be cast in the lead of like a Hollywood movie, but you think you're ugly. Um, okay, so the reviving gamer. Thank you, reviving gamer. What behavioral traits are attractive? And if face doesn't matter as much, why are girls so picky and bash men's looks all the time on TikTok? Okay, well, I can answer the first question first. Like, why they, well, I should say the last question first. Why are girls so picky and bash men's looks all the time on TikTok? Okay, you have to understand that girls feel like attacked by men. Like, they hear you guys like rating girls, they hear people like talking about females this and females that. And so they're basically on guard. They're kind of retaliating. They're fighting back. That's a big part of it. That's why they're bashing men's looks. I see a lot of it on my TikTok, okay? And I can tell you, it's a defense mechanism. It's a way to push back. It's a way to feel strong. It's not necessarily even true, okay? So, it's like when a guy says, "Oh, you're fat anyway." Like, this is like a common thing many girls experience. Whereas like a guy asked them out, he really liked them, right? Because he wanted to go on a date with them. Maybe he asked them out on the street, but then when he's rejected, like he can't handle it. And so he says, "Oh, like, well, yeah, like you're a slut or you were fat anyway, or I didn't even like the way you looked that much." It's like, okay, well then why did you ask her out? Why did you want to go out with her? It's a defense mechanism. It's like the rejection hurts, and so you push back. Same thing that girls do. Same thing that girls do. Girls are like sick of men putting them down, and so they bash men to feel like I'm a bad bitch. I'm good too. You can't put me down. You can try to put me down 1,000 times and I'll get back up 1,001 times. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why they're bashing men's looks. Don't read into it. It's like same thing with like creepy. You know what I'm saying? It's like that guy made me feel uncomfortable. What will hurt him the most? I've heard like creepy really is like a good one to get men. You know? "Oh, you're just a creepy old man." They try to go for, like, what hurts because they need some sort of weapon. So, do not read into this, please, okay? Just like, the guy calls fat, he'd probably love to fuck, okay? So just don't read into it. So and then if face doesn't matter as much, why are girls so picky? Also, they wanna, like, show off. But, it's like, who are they actually going for? not only these pretty guys, it's sometimes guys with the behavioral traits. It's just they don't necessarily want to say that because it's like by them saying they have this super attractive guy, it makes them look good. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes them look like, oh, I'm a 10 and I can get a 10. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of like smoke and mirrors a lot of times. I'm not saying they're lying, but it's like an unconscious defense mechanism a lot of times. Okay. They like attractive guys. It matters, but that does not mean that behavioral traits don't matter and are not just as powerful and attractive if you're talking about the right behavioral traits. And what behavioral traits are those? Well, okay, first things first, how do I describe it? You want to be calm. Okay, how do I explain it? Like, you don't want to just be telegraphing nervousness and insecurity. Okay, you want to be telegraphing kind of like calm strength. Kind of like you're not going to be pushed around by a girl. It's like that's kind of what feels like masculinity. That was like literally the first thing I always looked for in any guy who I was considering hooking up with. If he didn't have that, I couldn't do it. So that's like the first thing. It's hard to put your finger on because I do feel it's kind of like this. I mean, it looks like calm strength. Okay, that's the best way I can kind of describe it. It's like as opposed to nervousness, kind of like a kind of like rat like mousy like behavior. Okay, it's like that twitchiness. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's like this twitchy nervousness. You don't want that. That's number one, in my opinion. Okay. And then the ability to like push things forward, the ability to initiate, the ability to like flirt and banter. I'm not saying everyone has to flirt and banter, but that is a good one. The ability to like be the initiator. Basically, that's another very attractive behavioral trait, which a lot of guys seem to overlook. Um, yeah, those are huge. So, yeah, and most girls are just gonna say confidence, confidence, confidence. But what does confidence mean? Like, confidence could be like 100 different things, could it not? But SJK says is about always keeping your cool and having an I got this posture. I agree with you, SJK. I don't necessarily agree that you always have to keep your cool, but I definitely agree with what you're saying. That attitude can be very good. That sense that you could always keep your cool if you wanted to, that can be very attractive. And I got this posture. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so Troy Brewer says a good first message on Tinder is the following: "You seem cool, but are you adventurous as well?" Troy, I'll be very blunt. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible in my opinion. That seems kind of like a desperate telegraphing play for like, "Are you down to fuck?" I don't know. It just seems very transparent. I don't like it at all. The Reviving Gamer, thank you so much for tipping me so much tonight. So, what's better, 6 foot and ugly, or 5'7" and handsome face? Well, I think that's a really good example because, as you can see, well, it's a tough choice. I mean, a lot of girls are gonna like 6 foot and ugly better than 5'7" and handsome face, especially if those girls are over 5'7". Um, you know, some girls really, really like the model face. They want a guy who looks like a model. in a way, I kind of feel like I'm not gonna judge them, but it's like if that's what you need to feel like sexually attracted to someone, like, is your sexuality even that like developed? Because if all you want is like the face and that's the only thing that's gonna do it for you sexually, I don't know. But some girls are gonna be like that. Some girls are gonna take 6 foot and ugly every time. Okay. So as you can see, 5'7" a handsome face is not gonna win this every time. It's like who would win in a fight? Like a crocodile or tiger or whatever. Yeah. So um okay. It's time for me to be very blunt because I'm trying to make this more entertaining. And like I did watch back a lot of my lives and when I watch them I'm like, oh wow, oh wow, this is so boring. This is so boring. I'm very like reserved. So it's kind of like I need to just like loosen up a bit. So I'm gonna be blunt tonight. So I'm gonna tell you what's good and what's bad in my opinion, just to make this more entertaining. Okay. The Reviving Gamer says, "Thank you so much. You're my fave dating coach." Okay, thank you so much, The Reviving Gamer. Thank you so much for all your tips and great questions. Let me know your thoughts on those answers. So here, the 1% more says, "Simple Tinder message that gets me replies." Well, you said it gets you replies, so okay. Hi, blank, I'm blank, and I'd love to get to know you on a more intimate level. I don't like it at all, but hey, seems to be working for you. But I do not like it. It just seems to like really skip right to, you know, right to sex. Little too quick. Little too quick. Um, then Never Lose Forex says, I just go straight to the point of Tinder. Got any plans later today? I don't like it. Then he says, I mean, come on, it's Tinder, does it matter? Yeah, it does matter. Because if you just send like a bad message, like if you just said, hey, question mark, two question marks, good morning. Got any plans later today? She's just not going to respond. It's just annoying because it's like she's got 1,000 people, 10,000 people on her Tinder who are saying, got any plans later today? You up, doing anything fun, whatever. It's all the same. It all runs together, and she's just gonna be, like, not even bothering with you. So it does matter, even though it is Tinder. Like, you have to stand out. Like, I told you guys probably before, but, like, literally my phone would crash because I had so many, like, unread messages on Tinder. Like, I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just saying that's the reality for girls that you guys maybe don't fully, like, grasp. So, if you just say, "Got any plans later today?" It's or "Hey," or "How are you?" Good luck, good luck. Alright. So I don't think then Troy says, "I don't think these guys are looking to be put in the friend zone. You cut to the chase ASAP if you say, 'You seem cool, but are you adventurous as well?'" Yeah, I'm not saying you guys should be in the friend zone, but I'm saying that if you jump right to, "Hey, you DTF, hey, wanna come over to my place to drink some wine and watch Netflix and chill," in your very first message, it's obnoxious, it's rude, and let me know if it works for you. Let me know if it works for you, okay? Because I don't think it will. I'm not saying that you guys should just friend zone yourself and talk about emotions and feelings forever, but I also think if you just cut right to sex right away, girls who wanna have sex and girls who wanna hook up with you are just gonna be like, "Ugh, this guy is beta AF because he doesn't even have enough game to like warm me up." So that's the truth. Okay. So I want you guys to like not just weed everyone out in like your first message. And then Troy Brewer says Tinder isn't really a dating site. Yeah, that's what like all the guys say on Tinder who obviously get no messages. Like, I hate to break it to you because they're just saying things like, oh, who reads the profiles anyway? Well, that's not what girls think Tinder is for. Girls think Tinder is for dating, and trust me, they get dates on Tinder. So your attitude of just Tinder is for hookups only, okay, see how many hookups you get, treating it like, who looks at the pictures anyway? Tinder is for hookups only. Message me as you're down to fuck. Oh, nobody's messaging you. Yeah, because women can get paid for that, and they're not gonna give it to you for free if you offer them nothing, not even an emotional, sexual semblance of chemistry. And no, you don't create sexual chemistry just by just being like, "You ready to fuck?" It doesn't work like that. Sorry, it would be nice for you guys if it did, but it doesn't. So, and CCL, I'm sure this is a joke, but I bet you have sexy feet baby cakes. Yeah, hilarious. Reality Seer says, "How many messages does a decent looking woman get in a day?" Maybe like 30? Depends on how many people she's swiping on. I mean, I don't know if she's some like influencer with like 50 million followers, she probably gets like thousands. So, yeah. Um, Jonathan Bryan says, "What about this message? You look like this girl that came over to my place a few times a couple of years ago. I really liked her because she was funny, but centered and intuitive at the same time." I don't know why you would be comparing her to, I mean, like, is this like a first message on Tinder? Because why are you comparing her to another girl? I mean, I guess maybe you're trying to seem like, "Oh, I lots of girls like want to hook up with me." I wouldn't do that because whenever you guys try to do that, like just be like, "Many girls sleep with me." It just looks, it's very transparent. It looks like you're trying too hard. It looks like you're trying to pretend that, actually, I have slept with many women in my day. It's too transparent. A girl will pick up on this. I like part of it because I like when you're kind of saying more like full sentence, like she was funny, but centered and intuitive. I don't know, slaying it on a bit thick, but well, Jonathan says seems to get me responses. I don't know. I don't think it's great, but hey, maybe it gets you responses. So, to be honest, just in the spirit of brutal honesty, I hate it. So, the beat drop effect. Thank you so much for your tip. He says, "I cold approach a lot, but it's not working. Tips?" Okay. Well, I wish I had like a recording. I'll tell you what, the beat drop effect. Cold approach. Okay, first of all, expect that a cold approach is not going to work all the time. It's probably not even going to work, you know, 90% of the time. But it depends because there is a lot of things you can do to influence your outcome. But at the same time, many hot girls who you're probably trying to approach have boyfriends or are looking for, you know, maybe they have a type. Like, we don't know. I'm just saying expect it not to work a lot. But that doesn't mean you should stop doing it. And I commend you for approaching a lot. But there might be some other things you're doing which just like aren't working. So could you like type out below like what your approach is? Like try to give me like a breakdown because then I could see maybe some things that might stick out to me like, oh no, don't do that. Okay. So the beat drop effect is I try to be polite and throw a smile and make gentle banter, and sometimes it falls flat. Well, yeah, it's sometimes it's gonna fall flat, and that's completely normal. And the best guys at the cold approach in the world, it's sometimes gonna fall flat. It's a very tough situation. It's like making a cold call. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you should still do it. It's still very important, probably for sales. Like I wouldn't know, but it's gonna fall flat sometimes. Sometimes people are just gonna be rude. They're gonna hang up on you, and that goes for the best person in the world at this kind of thing. So please expect that and don't think it's necessarily because you're saying you try to be polite, that's very good. Throwing a smile, it might come across bad. 'Cause sometimes, like, I have said this on other lives, but, like, I've seen when guys approach and they try to smile too much, it can come across as, like, scared. It can come across as weak, it can come across as, like, beta, it can come across as nervous. And then making gentle banter is good. Gentle banter seems good too, but yeah, so I feel like depending on what you're saying, but everything sounds good except maybe the smile and sometimes it's gonna fall flat. So yeah, that's normal. That is normal. So yeah. All right, so then the beat effect says, I approach them and say, hey, I just saw you, thought you were gorgeous, and I don't see angels like you every day, so I thought I'd shoot my shot. And I have a nice smile. I feel like my smile is natural. Okay. Well, that's good, the beat drop effect. Like, I like that. Like, it kind of made me smile because it is really nice and polite. However, I feel like there's kind of only like one response a girl can have from that. Not necessarily like sometimes they might like it, okay? But in a way, they will probably just be like, "Oh, thank you." Like, "Oh, you're sweet," or something, and then like walk on. So I like it, but I feel like when you say I don't see angels like you every day, it almost comes on like so strong that I don't know, I just get the sense that like it might come on just a little too strong. Like I would try to say something more about like what like well what do you say next? Because do you what I'm getting is if you just talk about like their looks, like you want to I like what you said, like you're gorgeous, but if you just talk about the looks, it's not necessarily so good because they feel like, "Yeah, I'm gorgeous." Like, everybody thinks I'm gorgeous. Um, and this is not in a conceited way, but it's like if they're gorgeous, lots of people think they're gorgeous. So it's kinda like what girls are thinking is, "Oh, everybody likes me for, my looks, but does anyone actually care about who I am as a person? Does anyone actually care about, like, the things about me that actually I can control like my style or what I'm reading or what I'm doing or what I'm lifting at the gym. Like I feel like those things are a better way to make a genuine connection. You definitely want to add in the gorgeous too, but it's like you don't want to make it just so about their looks that they're just like, "Oh, thanks. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Thanks. People compliment me all the time." You know what I'm saying? It's good, but you want to add something more in about like, "Oh, like, you know, what drink is that?" Or just something more about their personality, about their style, something unique to them that isn't necessarily just about the looks. That can really help because that is one thing, you know, girls don't get from guys very often, and it seems kind of annoying because it's like, "You liked me because 'cause I'm hot." Okay. Do you even care about me as a person? Do you even know anything about me as a person? Did you even ask me one question to try to get to know me as a person? Do you know what I'm saying? And then you're saying, "I want them to blush and start a combo." Yeah, they'll definitely blush, but I'm just saying I have a sense that, like, the combo might get off to, like, a slightly bad start. I'm not saying it's bad because I did like it, like, I did smile and I thought it was, like, nice the way you said it, but I'm just saying if you just err too much on the side of, like, "You're beautiful. You're gorgeous," it can be not really perfect. Because if you started a conversation about something that is unique to them, they will feel more like, "Oh, wow, this guy's different. He really sees me." That's why, like, in one of my videos, I said to say something like, "I don't there's just something about you." Because that's something more than just looks. Like I said, something like, "Oh, I'd be kicking myself if I did come over here because there's just something about you. I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, you're gorgeous, but there's something like more than that." It's that idea of like more than that, something unique that you see in them. That's the female gaze for you. You know, something about like the way they present themselves that shows their personality, that shows their style, that shows who they are deep down. That's really the way to get the best chance, in my opinion. And then the beat drop effect, you say, I asked, so where's the country that birthed angels? It's good. It's laying on a little thick, the beat drop effect. I could see why some girls will just not respond. It's like if a guy says to you, it's like you're walking along the street and a guy says, "Hey, did you fall from heaven or something? Because you look like an angel." They're gonna smile and walk on. "Oh, thanks, that was nice." But they're gonna walk on. They're just gonna think, "Oh, one of 1,000 guys who thinks I look good." Same old, same old. No one sees me, no one understands me, that kind of thing. Um, so then 1% more says, "Excuse me, one sec. Hey, I'm Nick. I noticed you over here playing with your dog. Thought you seemed like a warm, happy-go-lucky girl, and I had to meet you." Okay, well, I want you guys to refer to my video I made on the 3 masks women wear, because this is an unintended error, in my opinion, that can kind of backfire. If you say to a girl she looks a warm, happy-go-lucky girl, it's kind of like the toxic positivity mask that girls don't like. Because it's like, as I said in that video, girls are constantly presenting this warm, happy go lucky face to the world. And they understand that guys want to see them as happy, happy go lucky, smiling, positive, but deep down, they know that's a front. They know that's often a facade. And they know that that's what guys want from them. And they know that that's not really deep down the real them and what they really crave from a guy. So it's kind of like saying, like, maybe if a girl came up to you and said, "Oh, I can tell that you seem like a guy who loves to talk about his feelings and is really much more into like a deep emotional connection than you are into sex." And you'd probably be like, not exactly, no." So it's kind of like a similar thing for the girl where it's like, "Oh, I can tell you just seem like a warm, happy-go-lucky, happy girl with a beautiful smile." And she's like, "No, that's not really me. Like, I have fucking trauma. Like, I have issues. I want a guy who can, like, understand that about me, and I don't always want him to see me as, like, the fake version of myself I present to the world." And again, it's unconsciously fake, it's subconsciously fake. So, do you know what I mean? Watch that video about the 3 masks I made. Um, because you don't wanna, like, always talk about the smile, how they're happy, how they're pleasant. And again, it reminds me of another thing I try to talk to you guys about in different videos, the casual matrix and the relationship matrix, okay? So, the casual matrix is kinda like the male gaze. It's like words like you can hear it in different guys' language on dating profiles, in TV shows. They'll say things like, "Oh, I just, I'm looking for a spontaneous, adventurous girl down to have fun." So she's like fun, spontaneous, adventurous, happy, casual, like these kinds of words, right? Because that's like a guy who really wants a girl to have casual sex with him, have no kind of like emotional issues with it, not make it all like a problem. And then on the relationship matrix, girls are talking about, "Oh, I want a deep emotional connection with someone who sees me for me," this kind of thing, right? So you don't want to like you don't want to talk in like too much of the casual matrix because it just comes across as annoying. Girls like, "Oh, not yet another guy who wants to know if I'm spontaneous and up for a meeting at, 1 hour at his apartment because he's wondering if I'm adventurous and looking to have fun. And deep down, it's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I will because this guy's my best bet right now because I'm horny. Something like that. Okay. So be what it is 707. Thank you so much. You are incredible. You are my biggest tipper, I think, on these lives, and I really appreciate you. So you ask, how to hold frame long enough for a girl to lose herself in the catacombs of her most intimate fantasies and have her realize that the fantasy is you. Good question. Good question, be what it is. So, how to hold frame long enough for a girl to lose herself in the catacombs of her most intimate fantasies. Well, to be honest, I don't really know if it even like takes too much. Like, I feel like it takes a guy with a sex positive attitude. It takes a guy who does have that calm energy. It takes a guy who does have enough of like these soft skills to emotionally support her in different little ways in order to build trust. And then she will feel safe enough with you. And also, it takes a guy with a little bit of like masculine sexual abilities, like a little bit of a dom mentality who's willing to go there. Because a lot of girls have submissive fantasies. So I don't know. I feel like you also have to kind of like know enough about sex because it's like a lot of guys, they don't really know anything about their own fantasies. They're not really comfortable talking about sex. They're not really comfortable talking about kinks. And they're definitely not comfortable like accessing that dark side in themselves. Like if a girl told you she has some like consensual non-consent fantasies, a lot of guys were like, "Oh no, I'm not into that." Okay, I could never do that. That's wrong. That's weird. How is she gonna go into the catacombs of her most intimate fantasies if you're judging her? And I'm not saying you are doing that, be what it is, but I'm just saying that's an important part of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys, like at the strip club, towards the end when I was working there, I was getting kind of bored and I would just go straight into just asking guys, like, what are your fantasies and stuff? Because I was curious, doing some data collection, you might say. A lot of them didn't know. A lot of them didn't have any. They were just like, "Well, I like women. Like, I like having sex. Like, that's enough for me," kinda thing, and it's like, how is a girl gonna open up to you when you're kinda scared and inhibited to talk about sex, to embrace your own fantasies, to be a little kinky, and to be a guy capable of playing that dom role in her fantasies? One thing, like, my boyfriend is not afraid to do is do that, okay? So, yeah, I mean, to have her realize that fantasy is you, I feel like you need to have a combination of being safe and not being afraid of that safe, consensual villain in yourself, if you know what I mean. The inner abusive boyfriend who would never actually hurt her, who would never actually abuse her, but who will kinda, like, help her experience that in the exact way that she asked for. If you do that, she will open up to you, in my opinion. If you make her feel safe afterwards too, with the aftercare and the talking about it, um, yeah. So, Your real question is how to hold frame long enough. Well, ideally, you wouldn't have to hold the frame. You could just become calm and confident enough to actually have the frame rather than hold the frame. Do you know what I mean? But there might be a kind of learn like a you might have to like get some more confidence and experience and success before it becomes real. So, what do you think of that? Be what it is. Like, let me know your thoughts. Any other questions? And thank you so much again. Guillaume Paquet, thank you so much, Guillaume. I appreciate your tip as well. And I will look for um, your comment if you have any. That's a good take. Oh, thank you, Guillaume. So, the thrill and the mystery. Hello, Wayne. He says, holding the frame is exhausting. Yeah, I think you shouldn't have to hold a frame, Wayne says. Yeah, I agree, ideally. But maybe it can help in the beginning. Absolutely. Um, Wayne says, if you're going to approach a woman in person, less is more. Hi, I just noticed you over here. Your outfit is cool. I actually like that a lot, Wayne. Like, I really like your outfit is cool because, like I was saying, that kind of gets at her personality more. Like I was saying, girls want to hear because girls put a lot of effort into styling their outfit. And when a guy notices that, he's basically saying in her mind, I see what you're giving. I understand your aesthetic. And I think it's really cool. That's a really nice compliment for a girl. And it's a rare compliment from a guy. So I like it. It's a banger of a compliment. Um, the terror says, true. Whenever try to talk about kinks and fantasy with other men, most of them think of it weird to talk about, kind of stupid and annoying. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, whenever I've tried to talk about like kinks and fantasies with people, it's hard. It's very hard to get a word out of them. Um, I'm reading some of these comments. The chair says, do some of the straight women enjoy looking at other women through male gaze perspective? Yeah, I definitely say they do. Um, Straight women can definitely get into the male gaze. I feel like probably part of the reason they're straight is that they find the male gaze hot when it's applied to them and when it's applied to other women a little bit. So a little bit, if not a lot. So yeah. Um. So the beat drop effect. I'm looking at some of your comments here. Um. Okay. There's so much going on here. So okay. Troy says you never tell a girl how hot she is. Period. Back to being blunt, Troy, that's literally the worst advice in all the chat. I can tell you that for a fact. Signed, stamped, and delivered. If you never tell a girl how hot she is, I don't even like know how to express like how bad of advice I think that is. And any girl on this chat, please back me up here. Maybe if you're very low value in a way, or if you're coming across to girls as very, very beta, it might help you a little because you might be doing it in a very like simpy way that is just unappealing and unattractive to her. So maybe it can help you to just kind of like hold back on that for a little while. But guys who girls like tell girls they're hot. That's for sure. So, oh, the beat drop effect. Thank you so much again. Do ugly guys with conversational skills get points? And what do women prefer in order? Broad shoulders, abs, an attractive face, smile, height. Okay, great question to be drop effect. I would say, do ugly guys with conversational skills get points? Absolutely, they get points. They get points with a lot of girls. I'm not saying it's going to get you every girl because some girls might just be like, I'm sorry, but they need a model. They're only looking for a model. That's not every girl. That's not every hot girl. Okay. So don't assume it is, but don't assume that you're going to be able to get every girl without, having just like incredible beauty. Cause like my friend who I always used to go out clubbing with, and this is when like I was a stripper, so I was quite into my look. Obviously, like I'm not into my look very much anymore, but I used to go out clubbing all the time with my friend, and she only liked models. That was it. She only liked a very, very pretty boy look. Okay, me on the other hand, I had a very different type. I didn't I just looked at these guys and was just like, "Oh my god, like, why are you going for them?" Like, and she would always ask me, like, "Can you go over and, like, bring that guy over to me?" And I would be like, "Okay, yeah, sure." But, like, I didn't like those kinds of guys. They weren't even, like, attractive to me. I didn't, like, just think just because someone has, like, a great face, they're attractive. Like, I had, like, a different type. But anyway, what do women prefer in order? Broad shoulders, abs, an attractive face, smile, and height. Okay. I'd say height probably is like gonna top the list for most women. Then an attractive face probably is next for most women, I'm saying. Then probably abs, because if a guy has abs, um, women might be like, "Oh wow, nice abs." Broad shoulders, I never even like really noticed on a guy. It's definitely good. And then smile, I feel like smile is one of those things like people just say they're like attracted to, but isn't necessarily like the real thing. I don't know. Maybe that's just me though. But that's kind of my take on it. I feel like majority of women are attracted to height. Majority of women will like an attractive face. Then abs, like if you're short and you don't have an attractive face and you have abs, it'll still be good, but I wouldn't like spend the effort on abs. I don't think it's that important. And broad shoulders, who cares? I don't even know what broad shoulders is. And smile, I feel like everyone has a good smile, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, maybe if like you have very bad teeth or something, that could be a problem, but I never even noticed that. Or unless it's like horrible, which I've like never even noticed. So, well, that I can remember. So, um, so the goat says broad shoulders are not what females look for, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's, like, something I never noticed. It's, like it's not something I, like, zeroed in on ever, or I ever noticed, like, any girls really talking about zeroing in on, so that's all. Um, so then the terror says long legs? I wouldn't say I ever noticed long legs, short legs. Like, supposedly my boyfriend has, like, short legs. I never even noticed that till he told me that. So, um, Wayne says, "You can tell a woman she's hot, just make sure it's genuine." Well, yeah. So let's see. Um, Hello, Banter ABC. I've been thinking about your email and how I haven't responded yet, and I need to. Um, okay. Oh my gosh. I want to ask you guys a question. Do you guys prefer like when I'm just like kind of harsh and blunt, or do you prefer what if I'm like understanding and more empathetic? Like I'm curious because like I was telling you, I tried out like a little bit just being more like IDGAF. Okay. Harsh and blunt, but mostly blunt, okay, blunt. All right. Don't need empathy, need truth. Okay, yeah. Okay. Hard and blunt, full on. Whatever's most concise. Okay. Reality seers is a good balance. Ah, little me. We won't get offended, little blunt. Yeah, that's one thing I really do really admire about guys. Cause I'm like, you guys, like, you're very strong, like mentally and emotionally. Like you can take it. And I do really admire that about guys. It's like very cool. It's a very cool part of male culture. I think is yeah. CCL says be the dom here. Okay, CCL. Oh god. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for your feedback. Harsh and blunt. Well, that's really good practice for me because I'm like a big people pleaser and I do not like hurting people's feelings, but it's kind of nice here because I don't have anyone face to face, so I can't even like see the reaction. But like if I was face to face, I don't think it could be this harsh and blunt. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. So yeah. Uh so oh, I think I got it up here. Be what it is. Thank you so much. So he says, what about inconspicuously throwing feathers or floggers into conversations? That sounds like a good line for like Tinder messaging when it like maybe gets into that territory. Um, but let me know what kind of conversation you're thinking this would happen in because like if this is like a cold approach, you don't want this to be your pickup line, you know? Um, and also like it's catchy. I like it. I'm just wondering what situation would you be inconspicuously throwing this into? Like, I could see if you're kind of at like this dark wine bar on a date and the topic gets to like sex, you can kind of like jokingly say that. I think that would be some good banter for sure. Um, but yeah, let me know be what it is when you are thinking of throwing this into conversation. Um, that's fine, Troy. Yeah, like Troy is saying, not everything you say is my personal actual experience with women, not hating on you. That's absolutely fine. Like, just take, what I say, and if it helps you, good. And if it doesn't help you, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you don't take it personal, but I'm just giving you like my take. And obviously, I don't have, you know, this isn't proven science. It's just my take. So, yeah. Wayne, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and insight. Thank you, Wayne. Um, so John Piero says, love your channel. When a girl looks at you a lot at the gym, I catch her eye sometimes. I'm not confident enough to approach her. She's beautiful. Is it in my head or should I approach her? Well, it could be in your head because, like I was saying earlier, there is a scientifically proven male overperception bias, which is the tendency of guys to believe that women are flirting with them more than they actually are. So it is possible that it is in your head. Maybe it's even likely that it's in your head, but that does not mean it is definitely in your head. She might be looking at you. I know, like, when I went to the gym, I would kind of like look at some guys. I would have kind of been happy if some guys came over to ask me out. So, final answer, is it in my head or should I approach her? You should 100% approach her. And I know women get annoyed at being approached at the gym. It doesn't matter. You should approach her. Just fuck what everyone says. You want to approach her. Don't live like this. Don't live like this. Just do it. Just do it. You need to approach every single woman who you find beautiful, who you feel some kind of spark with. Please be that guy who does approach. Please do not live your life like in fear because she's beautiful. Okay? Lots of women are beautiful, so please approach, approach. And if she rejects you, most important thing, take the rejection well. That says a lot about your character and whether she rejects you or not. Maybe she has a boyfriend, she may admire you and admire the way you handle the rejection. Just that casual, cool, laugh it off, thank her, and still be friendly to her after. Become friends. I mean, you don't have to be like friend zone friends, but you can be friendly even after you approach her in kind of like a non needy way. But just because you approach her and she says no, doesn't mean she's looking at you badly now. It means she's looking at you as a man, as like a threat in a good way, a man with the confidence to approach women. And if anything, it's going to make her you go up in her eyes rather than down, even if she says you're creepy and weird and gives you a really mean response. So just do it. And I'm saying that for you, because it is annoying to some women, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you annoy some people, especially if you're casual, polite, and not needy about it afterwards. So, and then Wayne says, if it's at the gym, I recommend doing it between sets or on our way out. Yeah, I agree, Wayne. That's really good advice. And then the goat says, either she thinks you're very unattractive or she thinks you're attractive. No, I don't agree to goat. That's not necessarily how it works. That might be how it works for some women, like the women I say who are very, very into male attractiveness, kind of like as their number one kink, but it's definitely not the way it works for many women. Um, and I think this is a big mistake. Like I was saying, this Corey Wayne guy, he gets wrong too, in my opinion. She wants to see how you act when you talk to her. That can determine her attraction. So I don't agree that it's just well, I guess he even says like if you're below like a 5 in her mind, then you're out. That's probably true. Yeah, so forget what I said about Corey Wayne. I don't want him to like or to get out or whatever that I misquoted him or something. Anyway. Oh god. Reality seer, where's the best place to find debt-free, tattoo-less virgins? Reality seer. Like this is literally the debt-free, that's fine. The tattoo-less, fine. The virgins part, this is literally the most beta tell like a guy can give. Please do not focus on virgins. Like it's truly a bit creepy. It's weird. Why do you want a virgin? Like literally, that sounds like medieval. It's like will meet my 12 virgins in heaven. Like what is this about? Um and also, why do you want a woman who wants to remain a virgin? Like, isn't that counterproductive? Don't you want to have sex? And don't you want a girl who enjoys sex and who it isn't easy to be a virgin even as an adult? Because most people lose their virginity like in their teens. So if you're looking for some sort of adult virgin, why is she a virgin? Ask yourself that. Maybe she has, pain during sex and she doesn't even like sex that much. Maybe she just doesn't really care about sex. Maybe she doesn't have a high sex drive. Like, do you want that? Do you want someone who doesn't like sex? Let me ask you that. Omar, all men want virgins. Omar, not all men want virgins. Okay. Definitely a lot of guys do, but I find it very weird. Um, but yeah. So 1% more says, how do you signal to get a guy to approach you? I imagine all women have different signals. Well, I'll tell you what like the most common dating advice for women says to get guys to approach them. Um, so basically they say do one of two things. One, you smile at them for like 10 seconds. And girls laugh at this because you're like, oh my God, like I literally have to just smile like an idiot for 10 seconds. I do like the worst fake smile ever. But the books for women are like, yes, girls, ladies, guys are dumb. They do not pick up on subtle signals. So even though it's going to feel extremely awkward for you because you smiled, you need to keep smiling. Plaster that large smile on your face because that is the only way that a guy is going to get the hint and come over to talk to you. Do not approach. That's one thing they always tell girls. You do not make the first move. You let him come to you. You just sit there looking pretty in your outfit and you smile, plaster it on the face for 10 seconds. And if he wants to approach you, he will. And if he doesn't want to approach you, he won't. If he wanted to, he would. So that's another tip for you guys because like a lot of you guys are scared of rejection, and women are thinking, well, if he doesn't approach me, then he doesn't want to approach me. They don't understand, like, you guys are scared of rejection because they project like this hyper masculine frame onto men. Now, another one that women will signal to show men that they're into this is like straight from every single dating book is you look them in the eyes, then you look down, then you look up again. Like look them in the eyes, look down, and then look right back up. It's that subtle. That's like the number one, number two, like move to get a guy to approach you. Um, yeah, and then, like, those are ones that, like, they'll tell you about in books, but then just, like, naturally, another one I kinda talked about this in one of my videos, but they might, like, stand next to you at the bar. Like, let's say you're getting a drink, they might be like, "Oh, I like that guy. I'm gonna walk up to him and just stand next to him, ignoring him. I'm just standing there, hoping he notices me, hoping he talks to me." So, as you see, it's always hoping he talks to you first because, as I tell you guys, the dating advice for women, it's all like how to attract a high value, dominant, masculine male. And they're trying to weed out the betas and only attract the alphas. So that's why they're telling the girls, do not approach because you want a guy who is always initiating, always pushing things forward. And if you talk to him first, if you initiate first, then um like if my mind blanked for a second. If you initiate, where was I going with that? But anyway, yeah, like I think you guys get the point. Like they want to be silent and be passive so that they filter out guys who are waiting for the woman to approach a man, and they only attract guys who are the masculine, dominant guy who they want to be with. Okay. So those are some things they might do. They kind of might like bump into you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, the beat drop effect. How did I miss this? Thank you so much. So, you said, what's sexy about how a man talks and carries himself? So, what's sexy about it? It's very sexy. Well, the way he talks, it just gives off a lot of signals about his personality, his behaviors, his skills, his traits. It's all conveyed like in his vocal tone, in the things he's saying, in the way he says these things, in his body language. You can kind of tell if he's kind of like masculine, he's got like a lot of testosterone feel, and he's just kind of like a guy's guy. Um, if he's confident, if he's got good social skills, if other people like him, if he's kind of weird, if he's afraid of you, if he's afraid of women, in a sense, all these things come across in the way a man talks and carries himself. Oh, look who it is. It's Beardo. Oh, hi.
You doing live?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Do you want to get like a chair and come join me? Special guest, guys. Hi. It's David. Oh, excuse me, Beardo.
You can call me David. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So, this guy is asking, what's sexy about how a man talks and carries himself? So.
Were you answering that?
Yeah, I just answered it. Oh, God. Okay. So, guys, special guest. Special guest tonight. You're very lucky. All right. Ask him questions too, or we'll both take your questions because this guy knows a lot.
Wow, you've been in this live for over 2 hours. It's okay. I'm not criticizing.
All right. So
I've been watching a football game for 3 or 4 hours. So
yeah, these are all my non-football fans here.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. So
if they ask me for any masculinity advice, they should have been watching the NFL game instead of in this YouTube live.
Yeah. So all right.
I'm only kidding.
Okay. Beardo, who's your team?
Well, the Chicago Bears, but I think I'm on the Buffalo Bills bandwagon this year.
Okay, Troy is asking you a question. In your opinion, how did you get her?
hmm
Okay.
Well, I mean, like we're suited for each other, so that was big. And I was just, I'd say, relentless in pursuing her. I mean, like, is that a donation?
Yeah, just finish this question and we'll
Okay,
get
sorry,
right
sorry.
to
Fine, fine, fine.
Monib Ahmad.
Fine, fine,
Thank
fine,
you
fine.
so much,
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Monib.
It just came up like all yellow.
I know.
It grabbed my attention.
I know.
So I'll just, I guess, off the top of my head, like one of the big things was she posted on Tinder for a date. She was in Vegas. I was living there. She was visiting, and I was, I guess, the only guy or the only guy you were considering who said like, "I'll come pick you up." The other guys were like, "Oh, meet me, at my place or whatever." And you know, uh, I always see like a lot of like one size fits all advice, and it's like life just isn't like that. Like sometimes you want to be the masculine, almost like scary guy, and sometimes you want to be like the guy who's not scary at all. And um, she was asking like is there a guy out there on Tinder who will escort me to a strip club? And I said something like you don't have to worry, like you're gonna be in good hands with me. Everything will be safe or whatever, right?
Yeah, like he wrote me this really good text message that was just like, I'm gonna be like the best escort like anyone could ask for or something like that. I wish I had the exact text message, but it was very like it got a very good vibe from the text message and it was very like full sentences and stuff. So yeah, and then the other guy I was considering was definitely kind of like this Euro Chad guy, and I had like narrowed it down to like you two. And then the other guy, yeah, he was just like, yeah, meet me at our hotel. Like, we'll, and I could just tell, this might be like, I'm gonna try this guy. So yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a pretty good date, and I was, you know, sexually forward, and I was rebuffed for a while, and then not, and then we had a few days together in Vegas, and then I was trying to come visit her in New York City for like 4 months after that, and she kept saying no. And sometimes I'd text her, and sometimes she would respond, sometimes she wouldn't. And when she wouldn't respond, I wouldn't, get all upset. I would, even though it hurt, I would just like take a day or two, and then I would text her again something else. I wouldn't say like, "Hello, where are you?" Like just like try to let these things slide. Just try to not get riled. Just take everything like it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Just be steady, be confident, be calm as much as you can. I mean, again, there's no one size fits all advice. And then she finally let me come see her in New York City, and we just hit it off immediately again. And so those are the top things that come to my mind on how I got you.
Yeah. Good answer, David. So then Monib Ahmad says, thank you so much, Monib. Don't have question, just want to say thank you for all the content. As someone who has been mostly clueless about how women work, your videos have been very enlightening.
Sure.
That makes me very happy to hear, Monib. I am very happy to hear that. I'm curious, Monib. What was like the thing that you feel the videos like helped you understand? Like what was your misunderstanding before? And what did the videos kind of like help you understand? If you can put it into like a short statement, I'd be very curious to know that. Um, and thanks again. And then the beat drop effect says, can you hit the A spot with average length? What even? Don't worry about the A spot. Just worry about the clit, all right? And you'll be good. A spot. Please don't comment, dude, on this. All right. Okay. Okay. The beat drop effect says no. Oh God, it's the beat drop effect. Like, I thank you for that tip, but I cannot answer that on live. I'm sorry. So,
One thing I think that could be said here is that like P and V is not the the best part of the sex for women. I don't want to say it exactly like that, but like for a man, like you put the penis in the vagina and it feels great, and you go for a while and then you come, and usually like that's not enough to make a woman come. Or a lot of times, everybody's different.
100%.
Yeah, so don't worry too much about average length and
Yeah. Or hitting even the spots.
worry more about I'm obviously foreplay is important. Like touching her like all over, because like the woman's like entire body is like a erogenous zone. And something that I think is really underrated is like afterplay. You got like foreplay, which is great for the woman, but like I'm often like, oh, come on, like let's go. I'm very excited to get to the play. If there's foreplay, play, afterplay, right? So then like if you come and she hasn't, then like work on making her come after. Don't just roll over and fall asleep. And I think something I used to do, you don't just like come and then you say, did you come? Because it's a very leading question, right? So I came up with some different ways to ask it. And I would say things. I think my favorite was, do you feel satisfied? And just kind of like tease out like, if she wants to do some more stuff or not.
That's good.
Or, you just ask like, how do you feel? Those kind of things. Or just continue to be, intimate and touching and stuff like that, and see how she responds, after you've come, maybe like touch her in the places she likes to be touched and see if she's kind of like, yeah, that feels good, keep going, or if she's like, it's enough. Right.
Definitely. Great advice, dude. Okay. MX says, why do some girls react great to dominance/BDSM style behaviors, but others don't? Is it their upbringing, or do some girls naturally have it and some don't? Your answer, dude?
My answer.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to answer though.
No. Oh, look what Banter ABC said. This afterplay is a thing gigolos care about a lot. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, Banter ABC. Afterplay, huge, yeah. I could see, like, I don't know if afterplay is like what you were saying or also aftercare, but both are very, very important and good.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of made up the word afterplay, or just kind of to contrast with foreplay. So there's foreplay, and then there's sex, and then
afterplay is making the woman come after
the
sex.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know if there's a word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So back to this question: why do some girls react great to dominance, BDSM style behaviors, but others don't?
Sometimes it's just like a mood.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Like sometimes I'm in the mood for something like really crazy aggressive, and sometimes I'm in the mood for something like much more like soft dom, gentle dom,
Vanilla.
vanilla, sometimes in the mood for like much more like emotionally connected sex, wouldn't you agree?
Hmm.
But other times I want like a straight out like vicious fight. Yeah. So but yeah, like he's saying, I mean, first of all, some girls are kinkier than others, first of all. Some girls are more imaginative than others, and they're going to have more fantasies and more kinks in general. Some girls are more intelligent than others, okay? Being kinky, I have to say, is kind of a sign of intelligence, all right? Because it means that you think about sex. You think about sex and what sex means to you in a deeper way. So that's not the only reason why a girl might be kinkier, but imaginative, creative, intelligent girls are often, in my opinion, more kinky. That's why like a lot of guys are like, oh yeah, it's always the quiet ones, it's always the nerds. Yeah, because they're quite intelligent readers who have a good imagination, and that means they have a good imagination for fantasies and when it comes to sex. And other girls, they have more sexual hang-ups. They need to feel safe. They need more like somebody to help them work through their kind of like sexual trauma. Other girls kind of have more of like a natural leg up in that respect. Like for example, like me, I kind of feel like I hit the ground running like with sex where I just felt like I was naturally good at it. I didn't have many hangups about it. Like I just felt very like at home doing it, whereas a lot of other girls have a lot more insecurity, and they're not gonna wanna. They're gonna hold their deepest fantasies buried under multiple layers of shame, and they're gonna need to feel much more safe than some girls. Like personally, I do. Am I talking about myself too?
Not at all.
Okay, gosh. So, like, I do feel kind of strong in a way, and in a way that helps me like do more sexually adventurous things because I feel like I can handle it. I can handle if it goes wrong. I can handle it if the guy says I'm like, you know, not fit to like bring home to mom after. So that helps. Also, some girls have like higher testosterone levels. They have higher sex drives. And so that makes them kind of like more into more extreme forms of sex.
Yeah.
Some girls don't have much of a sex drive, so they're just like, "Yeah, just stick it in, stick it out, we're good, we're done."
I didn't think of this until you kind of mentioned it, but girls that are taller, bigger, stronger, more athletic, I think tend to like BDSM more.
Yeah.
Um, most of us want to feel, kind of those gender roles, right? And so, you know, bigger, taller, stronger, more athletic women, uh, it takes more to make them feel small and feminine and like the weaker partner. And so,
Yeah, and can I add to that?
yeah,
Like, it's not just that, like, for me, it's not just wanting to feel weaker, it's like you feel like you need more to respect the guy because you feel like you're already kinda strong, so it's not gonna be so impressive, just like a little bit of masculinity. You need a lot of masculinity to kind of, like, make it a worthy pairing because you want the guy to be not just a little bit more strong than you, but, like, a lot more strong than you. So it's like you need more from the guy to kinda get, like, a thrill and, like, a turn on. It's like if he's just a little bit masculine, it's like, it's kinda wimpy, whatever, it's not really doing it for me." But if he's, like, very masculine, very strong, very aggressive, you're kinda more like, "Okay, I can I can settle for that." You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I think. MX says, my girlfriend is 5'11", so very tall for a woman and very much into kinky stuff. Yeah. Because she's taller than a lot of guys probably, and she probably wants to feel like you're worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like she needs like a big demonstration of strength. That's what I need. The beat drop effect. Thank you so much, the beat drop. He's been tipping me so much tonight. He said,
Thanks.
please upload this. I'm listening to it again tomorrow.
Yeah. So an interesting question. How does Beardo determine which one you want? Whether like vanilla or
Oh,
rough or whatever.
yeah. How do you determine that?
Main thing I would say is I try things and I see how it works out. You can sometimes just directly ask too, but something I was thinking about with the BDSM thing, a tip that I think is pretty good is you can just put your hand just like right here, and don't like squeeze, don't like pressure. First of all, it's dangerous if you don't really know what you're doing, or so they say. I don't know. Like you're supposed to like squeeze on the sides, not in the front. Anyway, so just like put your hand here for a second. Don't put any pressure at all, and then take it away and see how she reacts. Don't like dive into just like slapping her or choking her or whatever right away, and she'll get the message.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even though we've been together for a while, I mean, this hasn't happened too much lately, I'd say, but we'll have plenty of missed connections, where like I'll think she's in the mood for one kind of, or maybe I'm in the mood for one kind of sex or play, and so I start down that road, and then she's just like, stop, don't do that, and then I'll say, okay, I'm sorry, I misread it. What would you like to do?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be like, oh no, David, stop doing that.
But I mean, like most of the time, you can kind of figure these things out, read it, give it a shot, and then women will usually appreciate you taking the lead.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
They don't like having to ask for like, hey, will you please tie me up, or will you please stick it in, or whatever. They want the guy to be doing that because he wants to.
Good point. Very good point. Yeah. A guy earlier, he said, whatever you do, never call a woman hot. Never, ever.
It's not how I go about it. I'll directly, compliment women and tell them how much, depending on the situation, how much I want to fuck them, and whatever else, or how beautiful they are, or whatever.
Yeah. So, all right. So Troy says, you want a guy who is very masculine so you feel safe. I think it's hardwired into women because the female, they know you will protect her and a potential child. I don't really agree with that, Troy. I mean, that's not why I want it. It's not to feel safe. I mean, I know what you're saying, which is just kind of like the basic concept of, you want a guy who is strong so that your offspring can have the best chance of survival, like on an evolutionary level. But sexually, I don't want the feeling of feeling safe when I want a guy to demonstrate his like masculinity and aggressiveness. Like, I don't want to feel safe. I want to feel unsafe. I want to feel the thrill of, you know, his strength and his power. It's definitely like feeling safe isn't coming into it in this situation. So I've been being a lot more blunt on this live, well, before you came in, David, but like everybody's been telling me blunt is better. We can handle it. Just give us the straight truth. We need it, kind of thing.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been kind of like being a bit more intense. All right, so
All right. Well, it's pretty late for me, so
oh, okay.
I head off to bed.
Wait.
This is fun as usual.
Do you want to answer one more question?
Do you even know what the question is?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I want them to like, what do you think is the best tip to kind of be like DDLG?
The best tip to be DDLG?
And why do you think women like DDLG so much? And do you think that this is a three-parter? Women like DDLG, like a soft dom, gentle dom, or do they like more like a rough, aggressive, abusive boyfriend style? Or how do you think it goes? Pop quiz.
And women in general? What do they want?
Hmm. I don't know. How about let's just go with how would you go about being DDLG? And do you think it can like help guys who aren't like, because I feel like they think dominance is like, oh, you got to get her in handcuffs and then like whip her and like do a intense flogging situation
Mm,
here. And I feel like, most of the time you do more like the gentle style and it's very powerful and very effective. And so I was wondering if you have any tips how, your thoughts on it or just how they can incorporate it more. Like, I don't know. I just kind of want you to talk about it because you're so good at it and it's so powerful and so effective and you're just like so good at it.
mm.
So, if that makes any sense.
Um, yeah, I guess I'm just like, well, we talked about this a little bit, I think the last time I was on live, and you can start with just like normal, traditional dating behaviors, just like being the man and taking care of everything, opening doors and, pulling out chairs and, you know, getting her drinks and paying for things. And if you want to turn it into more of a DDLG thing, I would say like, um, bring in like a different tone, like you would talk to maybe a kid or whatever, it's like, oh, are you okay? Like, how do you feel? You want to come over here and sit next to me, And so I guess like you could you could come across as weak if you're just kind of like speaking really softly like that, but like being anxious yourself, thinking about your own problems, asking for things. But if you have like kind of like this soft, soothing, nurturing tone and you're making it all about her and what she needs, then that's like DDLG. That's you know you're the dad, she's the little girl, and she needs to be taken care of. And there's just like unconditional love kind of things in there, and you know uh, a lot of attention. Like be like really focused, all your attention on her, and yeah, you can maybe exaggerate a little bit, even like the degree to which she might need help,
Mm-hmm. That's
So like we
good.
talked about, like, on a date, like you open the door for a woman. The woman is perfectly capable of opening the door on her own, but we kind of like almost pretend like she needs your help to open the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that thing I was telling you about on TikTok I saw where they call like DDLG like passenger princess. And it's like, oh, the girl is always riding in the passenger seat because like she doesn't like to drive and you're kind of spoiling her.
Hmm.
And then like he's just kneeling down, putting on the shoes for her. It's like I feel like a lot of guys think that's weak. That's you being like a simp, but it's like
Mm,
they're not understanding the attitude that makes this not at all simp like.
mm. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what
like
I
I would
mean?
always like offer to drive,
Yeah.
even if it's her car.
Yeah.
We disagreed about that recently on The Bachelor. Remember, there was like the
Oh
female
yeah.
pilot and the male like race car driver,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, he should definitely like be like, I want to drive. Instead, he just like took the back seat, figuratively speaking, took the passenger seat, literally speaking, and just let her do the driving. But I think figuratively, he also let her do the driving, and it was a mistake, and it turned her off.
Hmm. Agree to disagree on that one. Hugh Hole Jazz says, "Did you see my super chat or did you answer and I missed it?" Hugh Hole Jazz, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. I'm gonna go up through this and look for it after Bureau goes because I did not notice it. But oh,
There it is.
okay, I found it. Thank you so much, Hugh Hole Jazz. Why would a girl come back after rejecting you?
For how long does she come back?
Well, I mean,
Hmm.
what does that mean?
Well,
And then Rodney, I'm gonna get to you.
sometimes like you're in a relationship and then you break up, and the girl, comes back to you for a short time, maybe
FWB.
one night or a few days or whatever, and
Mhm.
they want to recapture that security, that comfort,
Mhm.
you know.
Maybe they liked how you were sexually in bed, but they didn't like how you were as a partner in a relationship.
Yeah, girls get horny too sometimes, as well.
And maybe why would a girl come back after rejecting you? Also, maybe she was undecided.
Hmm.
Maybe she thought twice after the fact. She was like, "You know what? Why did I reject that guy? He was actually pretty good. I don't know like what I was thinking." You know what I mean? Or maybe she thinks, well, he would be good for something, like a particular use. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I could use this guy for sex. I could use this guy for, you know, going out dancing with, and he would like take me out and buy me drinks or whatever. So,
yeah. And men have kind of a preference, generally speaking, for you know having encounters with new women, whereas with women it's the opposite. Like they'd rather go back to somebody that they know.
yeah, because it's safer. Because when you're going to a new guy's house, one, he could fucking murder you behind closed doors. That's what's in most women's heads. It's a big move for them to open themselves up, get naked with a stranger who could do all number of bad things, at least with the guy they've been with before. They know how he is in bed. They know if he satisfies them in bed. They know if he's willing to satisfy them in bed. They know he's safe. Whereas the new guy, you guys can be kind of insane and scary behind closed doors, especially when you're naked and especially when sex is involved. So it's scary.
Rodney's Publishing says, "Why, when I'm not interested, I'm more appealing to women than when I'm interested in them." I don't know. People say this a lot. Maybe some women, like that hard to get stuff or whatever. My my attitude was always like, there are so many fish in the sea, whatever. There's so many women out there. Like, let me be myself and like do the dating thing the way that I feel comfortable. Obviously like the best version of yourself and whatever, but I'm just gonna go about it the way that I feel comfortable going about it. And the ones that don't like it, like that's fine. I'm gonna focus on the ones who do like it. So I was never into, playing hard to get, playing games, whatever. I was more into being aggressive, being direct. And so, if a girl didn't like that, then she didn't last too long.
Mhm.
Now maybe you're different from me. Like, I'm not saying you have to be aggressive and direct like I was. Maybe you have a different style. Like, that's fine. Uh, Use the style that you feel is best for you, and the girls will weed themselves out. The ones who like it will stick around, or the ones who don't won't. And you can't have everybody anyway. Like, s- like 4 billion people, women in the world. You're not gonna get them all. So
Great advice, David. Fuel Jess says this was more like she acted like we could be friends. I was cool with it and moved on. Then she comes back acting all flirty, really strange.
mm.
It's not strange at all. It's not strange at all.
Let me guess before you say, because I think that you have a better answer. You have a more likely chance of answering this correctly than I do. But so I would say that my impression of this is that she is kind of like testing you to see if you're like the man for the job. Like, can this guy, whatever it is that she's looking for, let's just say she's looking for kind of the traditional things, where she's looking for a guy who's kind of alpha, a guy who's kind of like masculine, forward, knows how to take charge, knows how to, get her in bed, and give her the kind of experience that she wants, or the boyfriend experience, or whatever that she wants. And that's that's why she's coming back. She's giving you another at bat.
Definitely could be. Definitely could be. I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely acted like that with some guys where I'm like, let me give that guy a second chance to like prove himself. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could work if he could just like amp it up just a little bit. But yeah. So, but also like maybe you moved on, then she sees you like flirting with other girls, and she's like, damn it, you don't know what you have till it's gone. And
Mm,
suddenly she sees your value. Same thing like with guys, you know how when a girl moves on, starts dating other guys, girls always say, that's when the guys, exactly at that moment when you've moved on, this time they'll come flocking back because they're just like, damn it, I've lost her,
mm.
you know? So yeah, good question.
What are your guys' thought that 80% of men don't get matches on dating apps? 80% of men don't get any matches, or what? I mean, that seems impossible.
Well, I've heard that's actually true from like, well, I don't know if it's any, but I have seen these like people who have all the statistics from dating apps, and they're like, yeah, there's like a small percentage of men who are getting like every woman swiping right on them, and then most guys are getting like no one.
Yeah. I think this like suits a particular narrative that, like, most of us guys can't get women or whatever. My dating profile wasn't that great.
Actually, it was good, David.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it was better than a lot of guys I've seen. But you're right. It wasn't like you weren't having like model quality photo shoots or anything like that. So
There are also more guys on dating apps than women. Yeah, well, guys also, like, unless I'm very much mistaken, tend to, which one's swipe right is good?
swipe right, yeah.
Yeah, tend to swipe right on a lot more. And women tend to swipe left on a lot more. And that's fine.
Yeah. Supposedly, like, would you guys agree Hinge is now the most popular dating app? Oh, so, so, are you gonna, do you want to answer some more? Or?
No,
Okay.
it's fun. It's fun, but I should get going.
Okay. All right. Thanks for answering a lot of questions, Beer.
Sure.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye. Okay. All right, guys. I'll just answer a little more, and then I'll go to. All right. Alright, I'll just look through a little more then. Okay, so little me, I asked a question twice. Should I ask again? Yes, you should. Sorry about that. Sorry for people's questions I missed. Just post it down below and I'll see it. Um, so Rodney says, Victoria, why do women find crazy man attractive? I don't. I really don't, Rodney. Like, I don't find him attractive at all in any way, shape, or form. I'm running if they're crazy. But what do you mean by crazy exactly? Like, what kind of crazy? Like, narcissist, abusive? Like, what kind of crazy? Let's see what else. Um, so okay. All right. Well, basically, if you're still here and I didn't answer your question, can you just like copy it down below? That way I won't have to like sort through everything. And if you're still here, then that's all that matters because I'll answer the questions for people who are here. All right. So, and if I don't see any more questions posted down below now, then I'll just go. So, um, Caesar says, why did you like his profile, Vic? Well, I like when guys like write a little about themselves in the profile, so he had that. I liked how he said something about like how he liked strong women, basically. Um, and I don't know, he just had like kind of just a little about himself, not too much. Um, there were some things which I kind of found like slightly like, but for the most part, it was fine because a lot of guys will just turn people off massively in the profile by saying like super obnoxious things. So he didn't do any of that. Just a little bit like not understanding the female gaze, but not enough where I was like, it's gonna make a difference. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest answer, but so Wayne says, what are some reasons women might leave you on red? Um, one, you don't ask a question. That's a good one. Like you just kind of want them to like respond, but you didn't ask a direct question. Two, they just kind of got busy because maybe they're like talking to somebody else. And it's nothing really against you. It's just they're kind of like busy with like other guys, other dates. Um, so sometimes you kind of need to like get back in the game by like asking her out again with a time and a place and a location. I guess it's the same as place. Um, Other times, they're just like, there's no way. Like, there's no chance for this guy. So, I don't think that's in your situation, Wayne, because I remember the screenshot you sent me. But those are some reasons. I mean, if she's texting you enough to leave you on red, then it's probably not that she just thinks you're like so far beyond gone. Like, why did she get your number in the first place or message you in the first place? But yeah, so when should a guy oh gosh, I'm getting tired, so I have to go soon too. Um, Finn of Zon, will you make this public? I don't want to, no, because it's almost 2 hours and oh sorry, almost 3 hours I meant. And it's crazy for me to do it. But I will leave it on unlisted. So if you guys like subscribe and I think if you hit the notification bell or you're like following the live, someone let me know. You can still watch the unlisted videos. Um Then Squeegee or Third Eye says, have you ever given tips for picking up strippers in these streams? Actually I have. Um so Monib says You asked what about your videos worked for me. I don't think you read it, so just pasting again. Okay, thank you so much for that, Moni, for pasting again, because yeah, there was a lot. So I'm gonna go back after and read all the questions, but I'm glad you pasted. So I treated communication with women I was interested in as if I wanted to be friends with them and assumed the romantic sexual stuff only comes once you have built the foundation of friendship. Oh, wow, Moni, then yeah, I'm so happy that my videos convinced you otherwise because that's very bad. You don't wanna do that. You don't wanna just have this, like, platonic friendship for a certain amount of time and then transition. No, you wanna have, like, a flirty sexual tension right from the start, whether you're friends or not. You want that flirty sexual tension to be there all the way through, and it's not gonna just happen if you're, like, friends. You're not gonna get your friends to lovers story unless very rare cases, very rare. Because if she sees you as a friend, she's kind of thought, this guy doesn't have what it takes. This guy doesn't have like the alpha qualities. This guy doesn't have what it takes to initiate. This guy doesn't have what it takes to like flirt with me. This guy doesn't have what it takes to like escalate things sexually just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So if you try to do it and then she rejects you, that's fine. But don't make this mistake of just getting into this friendship, secretly you like her, but you're trying to be all platonic and friendly. Very, very bad. So I'm very glad you are not doing that anymore, Moni, because you don't need to do that. I'm sure girls will like you. I can see by your profile pic. Okay, you're you're a contender. So Promethean Soul, where can I find the things, books, articles that women read to understand men? I want to understand the thought process women do to attract men. Great question. Well, I could actually make like a very good list about that. Because just like there's like the classics in, the red pill world, there's definitely the classics in the, you know, female dating world, such as He's Just Not That Into You, Why Men Love Bitches, The Rules, all these famous books like that. The Queen's Code. Um, yeah, so many books. Um, yeah, I could definitely give you a list there. Also, there's just so many female dating coaches on like Facebook or on TikTok, but yeah, you kind of have to get on the feed. So yeah, I would go to just like Barnes and Nobles and go to the self-help section, and there's going to be a section for like books for dating for women, and just skim them because I think it's going to be very revealing. Very, very revealing. Um, if you just like Google dating coach for women or something, and then like you got on their mailing list, I'm sure you get a good pick um pretty quickly. A lot of it is like they think they're like manifesting a guy. A lot of it is just like they're doing the inner work to be happy and healthy within themselves, and then they're just going to manifest a guy who is super good looking and approaches them and initiates and pursues them and does all the work. So, little tip for you. That's why I'm saying you guys need to at least be like kind of the dom pushing things forward because that's what they're looking for and that's what the dating coaches are telling them to do. Oh, be in your feminine energy so you can attract a masculine man. All right. Uh, Cryptic. Hello, Cryptic. What's up, Cryptic? Cryptic, what's your advice for dating? I wish I could bring him on. John Perro says, thanks for the gym advice. I'll approach her. Although I didn't mention she stares like a lot. Do girls stare at guys they like? Staring like a lot is kind of like unusual for a girl. It seems a bit like out of the norm of like normal behavior. But I don't know. It could be like she's annoyed with you. Who knows? But yeah, staring a lot. Most girls are not going to stare a lot. But it's possible. It's possible because she's so attracted. Anyway, either way, just ask her. And let us know how it goes. Um. Oh, Cryptic, why are you telling me like it's so BS to say alpha qualities? Like, you know what I mean. You have them, Cryptic. That's why you're lolling about it. Um. Yeah, Wayne says staring sounds like serial killer vibes. Indeed. Hello, follow if you swallow. Um. So, Promethean Soul says, I will push forward no matter what in all aspects of life. Thank you, Victoria. Very good, Promethean Soul. Very good. So, Rodney says, so many teach what not to do. You teach what to do. Very good. I'm glad that you think that. Sometimes I do feel I'm being a bit vague, but I appreciate that. So, Rodney's publishing. Is it true women don't love men? Um, I don't know how to answer that. Is it true women don't love man? I mean, many women hate men. Some women love men. And some women hate men, but they're still attracted to men. So, yeah. Okay, Lil Me says, I think my question keeps getting deleted. It's about me bringing up the topic of sex to my girlfriend, even though she's scared of it. Neither of us have done it before, by the way. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen your question, Lil Me. Like, I'm not deleting it, but it's like might be just getting deleted because you wrote like sex. I don't know, maybe they censor that or something. But tell me like more about the situation because like it's about me bringing up the topic of sex to my girlfriend, even though she's scared of it. Because I feel like this should be, and like, how long have you been together? Because she's your girlfriend. This should kind of be like an exciting time. It's like, when are we both going to do it? When are we going to lose our virginities? So, what is her hang up and what is she scared of? About 1 month. Okay. Well, that's still pretty early on, especially if she's a virgin, so she might need like more time. But maybe not. But like when you're younger, you're kind of wanting to get to know people more. Rodney's publishing it. So like what's the use? Women don't even like us, then why? Well, you forgot, Rodney, that I said some women don't like you, some women like you, and some women are attracted to you while being annoyed with aspects of men, just like men are annoyed with aspects of women, but they still are attracted to women and they still like women in some respects. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys have things about women which you find super annoying and irritating and possibly even enraging, but there's still a use in dating. So, Dominic Hess, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Then True Blue says, y'all are thinking too hard on how to talk to women. Literally just have a convo like you would with any guy. The problem is y'all are thinking too deep about what to say. I kind of agree with you, True Blue. If you could just have a conversation like you would with any guy, you're going to be 92% there. That's huge. That's what you want. You want to have like a casual conversation like you would with a guy with a little bit of flirtation, sex appeal in there, ideally, but it doesn't even have to be like that. So yeah, great advice, True Blue. Great advice. Um, Lil Me says, but it's not like she's gonna tell me when she's eventually okay with sex, right? I would like make sure you are talking about it with her. You know what I mean? Like you guys should be talking about it together. Like just ask her like what are your thoughts on like having sex? Like when you want to do it? What would make you feel comfortable? What would make it like the perfect moment? Do you have any fears about it? Like can I like let's talk through them. You're so sexy. I'm so excited to do this. We're going to do it right. All this kind of thing. I wouldn't just wait for her to tell you when she's eventually okay with sex. You know what I mean, Lil Me? So, yeah. Mark K says, dudes, women are desperate for us. You simply aren't putting in the work that will give you the confidence. Um, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. So True Blue says, it's literally just eye contact, genuine and a little bit of playful banter. Well, that will do it. Actually having something to talk about. Some dudes don't even try, so they overthink, and then you're acting weird. Well, if you can do it like that, True Blue, you're good. Lil Me, thanks for the advice, Victoria. All right, so try it out, Lil Me. Don't just not talk about sex. Like, that's very weird, I feel like, when people just don't talk about it. And they're just like, look, I saw this thing on Instagram the other day. I was like, the 5 initiation styles. And it was like, leaving a pebble, like, in a bowl, that means you're open to, being initiated upon or whatever. Like, it's crazy. Just like talk about sex with each other. Straight up talk about it. Make it comfortable. Make it normal. Make it safe. Um, so Shubham says, I have heard that women really want the exact opposite of what they say they want in a man. For example, they say they want a Prince Charming, but in reality, they want a really stoic, masculine man. Well, I mean, a Prince Charming to a woman has masculine qualities. So, and also, a stoic masculine man is definitely one type of guy women like, but it's not the only type of guy women like. So, I wouldn't get like stuck on stoic. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's like as simple as just it's the exact opposite. Like they say they want, you know, someone who's kind. They actually want someone who's rude. They say they want someone who's good looking. They actually want someone who's not good looking. Like, yeah, it's not like it's opposite day or whatever. So, yeah. So then, so no, I don't think it's totally true, but I do think maybe what they're getting at is they might say they want a nice guy when really they're leaving out kind of some of the more darker, dominant, aggressive, assertive, don't give a fuck, kind of like selfish attitudes that they're also attracted to. But I wouldn't say like, oh, they're lying and it's actually the exact opposite. Because it's like they want both. Like if you watch my video, the core fantasy that drives women to orgasm, you will understand that better. So I would watch that video. And then Le Barbosa says, Thank you for recommending Dr. David Burns. I loved his book. La Barbosa, that is so music to my ears. I'm so happy you liked it. That guy, what can I say? He is a genius, gonna change the world. He knows everything, in my opinion. So, which book did you read of his? Um, okay, guys. Well, it's time for me to go. And thank you guys so much. Thank and if I missed anyone, if I missed anyone's super chat, because like the things were going quickly, email me at mynonlittlerlife@gmail.com, okay? And let me know. And you guys can email me there. I'm not saying I'm gonna respond to everything, but I might. And it's quite possible that I will. It's just I don't wanna promise because then it's like if I just get overwhelmed, I can't get to one or whatever, one's just so long, you get it. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone who tipped me. Um, I'll talk to you guys later.